Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today is a get ready with me and we're trying out a few new Kat Von D products. So the things that I have for this is the new Serpentina palette, this guy right here. And then I've got the new concealer. This is the Lock-It Concealer, Kat Von D. And then the last thing is her powder, her Lock-It Translucent Powder. So if you would like to see how I created this eye look, how the other products performed, just keep watching. God, I am like so dark and then so white. It's okay. A little bronzer or a lot of bronzer layer is going to help this situation out. Anyway, the very first thing that I'm going to try out is concealer, the new Lock-It Concealer, and I've already got my foundation on, so we're just gonna go with it. I must say that I actually really love the packaging on this. I think it's so sleek and pretty. She does such a good job with her packaging, like 9 times out of 10. I love it. This guy is in Light 3 Warm, and I'm going to grab this. Now, first impression, it seems like it's pretty thick, but we're gonna see. I don't like thick concealers underneath my eyes because it ends up looking cakey, but we're gonna try this out together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the normal places that I would with my Urban Decay one. And now I'm going to use my damp beauty blender and press this into my skin. You do get really great coverage out of it. I don't have like dark circles or anything. I get, a little bit blue right here, nothing major, I don't have to color correct or anything, but you do get good coverage. It is a little thick, but it looks good. It doesn't look cakey, not yet. We'll see what happens when we put powder on top. It's actually sitting pretty nicely. I'm a little bit impressed. I really thought I was going to hate this as soon as I put it on. Like I used to love the NARS Radiant Creamy and I hate that concealer now. Okay, well I'm going to put on my Hourglass Diffuse Light Powder and then we will use the new Lock-It powder. I don't want to use the Lock-It powder underneath my eyes because that's just going to be too heavy. This is pretty much the only powder that I love underneath my eyes. Yeah, even with the powder on, still doesn't look cakey to me. It looks a little thicker than like my Urban Decay concealer, but it doesn't look bad. I'm shocked that this doesn't look bad. Okay, well let's move on to the powder. So I'm going to use this guy to set my entire foundation, and this is just the Kat Von D Lock-It Setting Powder in Translucent. This is the only shade she has. Hopefully she comes out with some other shades because, I don't know, I feel like this could probably lighten some people's foundation. It's probably going to lighten mine a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to grab some of this with just a brush. And I'm going to start pressing this onto my skin. I like to kind of dab the powders around and then buff it in. Oh, that got like in my lungs. I feel like it looks like it lightened my foundation more on camera with these lights bouncing back more than it does in person, but it did a little bit. But not too bad. Like this is the problem I have, like my neck and everything. Well, again, on the viewfinder, it looks a little different, but this looks really nice. It looks really soft and smooth. It's a matte finish, but it doesn't look dry or cakey. Yeah, okay. So far, so good. I'm gonna put on my bronzer and my brows, and then we'll move on to the Serpentina palette. Okay, so moving on to the eyes, I've got the Serpentina palette, and I'm going to be super duper honest about this palette. I'm not super excited about this. I am going to see and wait to say anything until I've got it on my eyes, but I'm not really excited about it. The swatches and stuff and the textures, I don't know. We're going to talk about that later, but I'm going to try this on. This is the palette here, and I'm going to insert some swatches down below. We've got, I'm going to start with the red one, Blood Milk, which is a matte. There's only 2 mattes in this palette. Medusa, this is really hard to read upside down. I don't even know how to say this next one, but it's a really pretty shade. Queen, Hieroglyph, and Nile, Scarab, and Venom. And then we also have this guy right here, which is a loose pigment, and it is called Prophet. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, I hate that when you take this guy out, it's like unfinished cardboard. It really, really bothers me. I feel like it should be black. Maybe have like some kind of insert in there so that it just looks nicer, but it is what it is. And I just feel like it is necessary to use this in collaboration with the palette you guys know I'm obsessed with. I love this one. This is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. Now, I feel like this one feels different than this one. Even like the matte shades, these don't feel as soft to me, but it could be different whenever I put them on the eyes. So I'm not going to say whether I like it or not until I've actually used it. And the reason why I'm grabbing another palette is because clearly you're not going to get a really wearable look. There's no transition shades, there's no highlight shades or anything like that in this palette. So I feel like you need another palette like this one to be able to really create a look. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start off in the Shade and Light Eye Palette, and I'm going to grab Matte 242 and this shade right here. I'm going to put this underneath my eyebrow. I'm not used to things being this bright on me because I've been so pale that, you know, before this was like, oh, it's just a little light shade. Now it's like, ba-bam. So, yeah. Going to grab a MAC 217, and I'm going to use this shade right here as a transition shade. So I'm just going to pop this right into the crease and then work it upwards so that the majority of the product is in the crease and not, you know, super pigmented right up here in the transition area. Okay, now that I've got that done, I'm going to dip into the Serpentina palette. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea where I'm going with this look. I'm just going to kind of feel it out and see what happens. So I'm going to grab Blood Milk, same brush on my 217. And I'm going to start this outer corner. Hey, at least this is pigmented. That's pretty good. Starting off on a good note. So make sure, like, I am taking the brush and kind of pressing this into the skin and moving it, like still pressing, like tap, 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 so that I don't get this clear up into the transition. I'm actually going to wipe this on my pants, get the excess off, and then start blending it out. I'm going to start working this up and blending it in to that orangey shade. Just kind of pressing upward. But you definitely want to get the extra product off the brush, because if I didn't, I would have like a huge red eye. I'm very happy that this didn't turn pink, because like in the Manny MUA palette, that shade turned pink. So this is nice. Switching to a MAC 221, I'm going to grab this kind of purpley metallic shade, and it's called Queen. And I'm going to start on this outer corner here. Just kind of packing it on. So I'm tap, tap, tapping, and then working it into the crease softly. Kind of dragging it over into this inner corner, just directly in the crease. Kind of get some definition there. I'm honestly surprised, because these, to me, the texture of them were very different to me. That could just be me, but yeah, I'm actually surprised that this is going on as well as it is. Now I'm going to go in with a 287 and go back in with that transition shade and just go right around the edges of these. MAC 242 in Hieroglyph. And I'm just going to pack this right beside Queen. Tap, 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 and then spread. Now this one isn't as pigmented as I would like. Amber Lights is a little better if you ask me, from MAC. My throat hates me today, sorry. Inner part of this corner, I'm going to use Medusa. I'm going to smoke out this lower lash line, but before I do, I'm going to add MAC's Chromographic Pencil in NC15 NW20. And I'm going to pop this in the lower waterline. MAC 219 and a little bit of Blacktrack Fluidline. I'm going to pop this right underneath the lash line. Get a nice little line, wipe off your pencil brush on your pants, and then kind of buff it out. Now I'm taking a NARS pencil brush and a little bit of that Profit loose pigment, and I'm going to pack this in my brush, tap off the excess, and go right underneath the eye, right on top of that black. It really intensifies it. Now I kind of want to intensify this outer corner a little bit just because it's so dramatic, and I don't want to add liner. So I'm going to grab this one that I can't say on a 221, really tap off the excess, and then just dab it on this outer corner. Add a little bit more depth just right there. I'm not going to bring it up into the crease or anything, just on this outer corner. This mascara looks like it is made for this look. This is the MAC Instacurl Lash. I'm going to pop this on, and then I am going to put on some falsies, and I will be right back. Okay, so I finished off the eyes using Salon Perfect 615 lashes. I used Gingerly on my cheeks. I have some bronzer on, which I used Luminous Bronze Light for that. And then I have on my lips from my haul video. This is Bare Minerals XYZ liquid lipstick, and then the MAC Vamplify in Fab Tested on my lippies. Anyway, so the verdict on these. Concealer, I actually think looks really nice. The powder looks nice. I feel good. I don't feel like anything looks cakey. I will update as I go through the day. If something changes about that, I will list it down in the description box that, hey, no, I ended up hating this, blah, blah, blah. But as of right now, I actually really like this. And then for the palette. So I thought, you know, I really kind of regretted getting it in the beginning because I didn't like how they were swatching. I didn't like the texture of them. I was kind of unimpressed with how the pigment was in there, but how they played on the eyes was good. They blended out well. I don't feel like they turned into a muddy, crazy mess. Pigmented, I have no quarrels with this. I do say that you're going to need another palette with it. You're going to need something like this guy. Even the Visart palettes, anything MAC shadows, you just need some neutrals and transition shades, some matte shades to throw in there. And I used quite a bit of the shades in this palette, and they all worked really well. So I'm going to have to use the blue, green, and purple next time. I used all of these shades and this guy, so not bad. I don't think this is a must though. I do like her not Thunderstruck, her metal collection, whatever that was with like Thunderstruck. I like the pigmentation and the texture of those better. So if you have those, I don't think this is necessary. And I mean, this pigment looks a lot like MAC's Old Gold. So if you have a lot of these shades, I would say pass, but if you don't have a lot of these shades in the collection, it's a good adder palette. So meaning throwing this one in with some of your neutrals kind of adds a little bit more funness to the look. So I think I am going to keep this. I honestly thought I was going to send it back. Like once I got it and I was playing with it, I was like, But that just goes to show that sometimes things aren't as they seem, and you just have to use them and see what you think. Even with the concealer, I really was like, oh my God, this is so thick. But it looks good. So it's just take the time, play with it, and see how you feel about it. So powder, yes. Concealer, yes. Shadow palette, if you don't have colors like it, grab it. It's not a must-have, but grab it or even if you're just interested in it. I think it's a good palette. Like I said, if I have any issues with the thing, they will be down below. Let me know what you guys think of these things. And if you got your hands on anything, Lord Mel, can you talk? Of course not. Of course not. If you got your hands on anything and you love them or you hate them, please let me know. I love to know what you guys think. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.